Hello traders, welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 197. You know what we're going to be doing in this video, having a look at the market, how it developed this week, what kind of opportunities we had, and most importantly, what we can expect for the upcoming week. This week was nice, but I mean from Monday all the way until Thursday, we had tricky markets, consolidative. Some of the pairs moved, but some, like for example EUR/USD and the USD pairs, consolidated all the way until Thursday when we actually had a very big move, fulfilling our hard time frame targets. My week this week is kind of a break-even-ish, slight loss. It's the first week of trading after 2 weeks of a break, as I'm traveling, settling in, moving countries and all that stuff. It's still pretty much a big mess, right? So I took 2 losses on EU and I took 1 win on S&P 500. I'm going to show you what I did this week, of course, for you to track my performance. Next week is going to be big because we have Wednesday is going to be a big day. I'm going to show you on my EU and DXY analysis. So again, if you're new to this channel, it is all about trading. I share these weekly outlook and setups every Saturday. And once per week, I give my best to share an educational piece of content or a trading setups breakdown video, which I'm going to start doing pretty soon once I settle, once I get a home station, buy everything and all of this stuff. So make sure you're subscribed, turn on the notification bell in order not to miss the future updates. And if you already did, let's not waste time and jump into the video. Alright, as always, we're gonna get started with a Dixie, have a look at what the dollar is doing. But really, before I do anything, I just want to remind you that next week is gonna be absolutely insane. So I'm just gonna take you to my other screen right now. So on Tuesday, we are having CPI for the US. Massive news release. Wednesday, we're having interest rate decision, policy statement, projections for the second years, for the first, second, current, longer, and a press conference. I mean, this is just huge. So, and you can see actually they are not going to hike the rate anymore, which is good, right? But of course, guys, we just don't know what to expect around that time. I pretty much think next week is going to be insane because again, we start with CPI on Tuesday, interest rate press conference on Wednesday. Guess what? On Thursday, interest rate for the ECB and a press conference for ECB and the retail sales for the USD. Absolutely insane. And Friday, we have interest rate for Bank of Japan as well. Like, absolutely incredible week ahead of us. I'm not sure how we're going to be able to navigate and if we should actually navigate next week. But of course, we're going to be flowing with the markets and seeing what we're provided and hopefully catch something. But of course, you know, before interest rates, before CPIs, before any such huge news releases, the market starts to consolidate, prepare liquidity areas, and then the news comes out and it just boop, boop, boop. You get all the sweeps and yeah, you pretty much can lose a lot of money. So again, do not trade during news and be careful before the news as well, because you're most likely going to get stuck in a consolidation. Okay, so as you remember, like we've done this analysis many times, the market came in right here on the Dixie and took out this overall low. And what I see, like this low is just an old liquidity low, swept below it, reacted, came in, swept. There is only kind of one little body that closed below, but you can see we're pulling away from that level always, right? And the market here came in actually and also swept this low for a little bit, and then we just reacted massively. So currently we are still reacting from this supply, and it has been like 2 weeks that we react, but we don't really push down. So for me right now to actually determine a bias, it's a bit hard because knowing what we have next week, I just don't feel comfortable and actually telling, well, it's bearish or bullish, because there is going to be a very big candle next week. This is what I know for sure. So weekly time frame, yes, it's bearish, but also monthly time frame has fulfilled its objective, right? It's pulled back to 50%, so we can also start expecting bullishness. If the rate is kept the same though, this could also be bearish for the dollar, right? I'm not sure how to interpret it right now, but of course you don't need to interpret things, you just wait and see what's gonna happen. You can see like the past 2 weeks, right? As we came inside this level, right? There is that little liquidity high that I thought we could break, but we did not, right? So let's just mark this one as available liquidity. The market came in and it also created this daily zone, this daily higher low formation, tapped in, reacted, failed to break higher. That immediately means this is liquidity, and we came in and we took out this liquidity on Thursday. This is what I told you. Tuesday, Wednesday, no moves. Thursday came with the move, and Friday gave a little reaction. Okay, so we are still bullish on the daily, but again, you see a consolidation. And again, as I always love saying, it's cooking for something, right? The volatile time frame was a bit cleaner because the volatile time frame caused a structure break down there. It caused a supply right here. And again, we were kind of tapping inside the supply quite some times, but again, we were bearish. When we were also bullish on EU, but again, it took quite some time for the market to actually go with this bias. Okay, so right now, as we are kind of taking this low, like this, of course, could be liquidity. Something that I'm exploring a lot right now is liquidity, breaks, sweeps, and all that stuff. Really trying to get better with liquidity. Right now, you can, of course, interpret this as a break of structure, right? We nicely broke below, closed below, we stayed below for a little bit of time, right? So it's not really a sweep. And of course, the next kind of zone right now, the next major lower high is here, right? That's the major high, that's the major low on the FOIC. We can, of course, expect the market to travel right now towards the 50% on the FOIC. And then from there, I just don't know, right? I don't know. Of course, right now I can say, well, I'm expecting a pullback. Hopefully somewhere right there, and then of course the continuation down. But of course we're tapping into a daily zone. The daily time frame can prevail and push the market up. But again, this is currently how I view the market. Okay, tapping into a weekly supply. Daily is still bullish, but again, we saw the daily tap failed to push. Right now it's coming back down again, and I see a lot of bearish pushes as well. So there is some bearish bias. The volatile time frame has been bearish after it created the trend change. So again, we can see that the order flow is overall bearish. So I'm gonna say I'm more short than I'm long, but again, just knowing what is incoming next week, I'm gonna be very careful in throwing forecasts. And yeah, so that's my DXY analysis. This is what I look for right now. If on Monday we get a little pullback and if we get a short, I will be good for it. And if we continue traveling towards this supply, then we can take a couple of longs on the 50 minutes towards the 50%. So that's the DXY. That's how I look at it right now. Of course, it's all about flowing with the markets. So let's see how EUR USD is looking like. Well, as always, EUR USD is pretty much the opposite of the Dixie. We're having a weekly structure break right there. Not very strong. Again, we wicked. Stayed right there, wicked again, right? So not a very convincing break, but then of course we have weekly demand zone. And again, the market has been in this demand zone for, yeah, this week we entered and then 2 weeks of, you can see, not much of a big move like the last 2 weeks. I'm glad I didn't trade the previous week, and this week was also pretty tricky. So again, dropping onto the daily right now, the weekly has fulfilled the objective. The daily also has fulfilled the objective coming into this last structural liquidity that was taken. And then you can see the market entered into a period of accumulation, right? And what I see right now is that we kind of swept the low and then we have a daily break right here. So again, to me, respectively, I immediately start looking for upside targets, which is first going to be this high, this high, this high, and eventually the upper high. Because again, a mistake that a lot of traders make is they draw supply levels like this on the left. And again, those just turn into different reaction points for the market to eventually cause a break of structure to the upside, right? So this is how it could potentially look like. So on the daily, that's it, right? We have fulfilled everything. We've tapped inside this zone. There is a slight bit of imbalance right there, something that I started looking for, fulfilled. So what I see right now is more bullishness than bearishness. There is also the daily, which is also a 4-hourly break. Okay, and if you remember, actually for my analysis, I took a 6-hourly zone right there, and the market never dipped below it, but it was pretty tricky. Like Monday came in, up, down, and I thought, well, maybe we're gonna break, right? But eventually, as I told you, like on Thursday, around towards the transition from London to New York session, we very nicely pumped, and right now we are pulling back. So pretty much similarly to the Dixie, we're having this breakup right there. The market is currently pulling back to the 50%. We have like imbalance here, we have imbalance there, we have a potential, oops, not this one. We have a potential zone that I don't like this, but do we have a cleaner one? Well, not really. Yeah, they all look the same. So I'm just gonna take like this overall sell to buy as a potential zone. And there it is. I mean, everything on EU is showing me bullishness. So just based on my top-down analysis and everything, and I'm gonna call longs for next week. So of course, let's see how this one is gonna play out. Of course, potentially we can pull back a little bit. what am I drawing? We can pull back a little bit, continue pushing higher. We can just stop at the 50%, continue pushing higher. Again, it's all about right now flowing with the 50-minute time frame, having a look at how the market is going to open, and then of course reacting to it. I mean, this demand zone we can just minimize because the market has already tapped inside, and this is going to be demand if we come in back again and take out this low. Okay, so we're in daily demand, weekly demand, everything is pointing towards longs. And guess what I did this week? I took a short. Like, what the hell? So let me see where that was. Yeah, so I didn't trade on Monday. Yeah, Monday I was looking to take a long right there and a short, but it didn't provide cleanly, especially the London session was pretty choppy. Tuesday, manipulated above. I was looking for longs once again after we collected all this liquidity, but the market came all the way down and broke the low, right? So again, no longs. There was a long exactly right here that I had a member of my community take, but this to me was late. I don't trade at 5 o'clock, and right now I'm UTC +3 actually, so it's definitely late. And this day, there were no opportunities. The market just broke down and then it just pumped up. And then this day right there, what I thought is going to happen on that day is that we're going to be collecting again more liquidity right there, taking out like Asian low. Well, the Asian low was taken, but I thought we were going to take a little bit more before we push up. So this is why I gave myself the opportunity to take this short, because I liked how the day opened. We started with a chop, took out the high, came in, still bullish order flow was respected right there, right? Took out the high, but then I really like the rejection from here and the exit to the downside. Very nice push down, and then as we pull back, it came in very strong as well, but again, I just listened to my plan, and unfortunately, I took 2 losses. So where did it go now? Yeah, so there it is. We came into supply, liquidity is grabbed, everything is good, right? So there's the first trend change, took the trade from here, immediate stop loss, then it came in. I could have skipped the second one, but of course there it always happens that the market takes your first stop loss, then offers a second, and it works, right? So the second TC came in with another one and another stop loss. So 2 losses on this one, and then guess what? Like the market just continues to pump without providing you a long trade, all right? So pretty much that's my EU. Then here, there was a short on Friday, exactly right there, but this Forex.com did not have a liquidity grab. It formed equals while my IC markets had a liquidity grab, and this was also just before Frankfurt. Yeah, I mean, this was around Frankfurt, so I don't trade it. Then on this retest, there was no 1 minute setup, so there was a short, but unfortunately, it did not offer an entry. And again, it is what it is. That is the market. Luckily, I took a win on SPX, so kind of sitting around slight loss or around break even. So that's EU. Let's see how longs are going to play out for next week, and stay tuned for my either Tuesday or Wednesday flow with the markets. I'm going to try to experiment with it a little bit. All right, next is Euro Yen. So looking at the weekly time frame, it's actually an inside bar, right? You can see the previous candle low, previous candle high. And of course, this is normal because next week we have ECB monetary policy decision and statement and press conference and whatever. And then we have also JPY interest rate decision and press conference and everything that comes with it. Okay, so you should definitely be aware of this trading the yen pairs. So what makes sense to me right now is that we pull back. Then we try to push higher to take out this high, but we stop and we do not take it. So again, 2 things right now. We're either going to just run towards the high next week, or we're going to come in and take out this low as liquidity because this is a weak low. Why is it weak? Well, because it hasn't caused the high. Okay, but we don't know yet. So if the market opens bearish, then of course we can expect this low right there to be collected. But of course, let's not try to forecast way too much. So again, daily time frame, you know that we had a daily high low right there. And again, is this a break? Is this a liquidity grab? Well, it actually came in, wicked it, right? And then of course it came in and broke in the opposite direction. So what I spot is that if the market doesn't stay for a long time below structure or above respectively, it tends to oftentimes be a liquidity grab, right? I'm just starting to make some observations. And then the market kind of started to chop around, went up, went down. Again, you can see here, kind of trying to break, but again, it came in, reacted, pushed up, came in, reacted again, pushed up, right? It's struggling, okay? And what this tells me right now, well, overall consolidation, okay? Because again, this demand right there is not holding, it's wicking below, okay? So again, currently I can say, well, that's a break and that's supply, for example, okay, but I'm also not 100% sure when it comes to the daily. So then also dropping on the 4H, well, you have a similar situation. It's confusing, right? Where is the major lower high? Well, as I said, like, I mean, it's either this one right there or it's either this one, but in this case it actually makes a difference, because if it's this one, then it's actually a trend change, but if it's this one, it's still bearish. Okay, if I am, so that is valid, broke up, down. Yeah, if I'm extremely objective, it's actually this one. Yeah, yep, it's actually this one, because I have very specific rules that I'm not sharing publicly, but I'm just gonna tell you that this to me is the major lower high. So technically you can take a very big supply like this. You can see this high tries to push lower, it fails, right? Then it becomes weak and the market comes in and actually sweeps it. So right now what we can expect is for the market to attack these lows. Okay, so just keeping this in mind on the 4H, well, this is not swept, this is still liquidity. Keeping this in mind on the 4H, you can start expecting like bearishness right now, but also knowing that euro is overall bullish. Well, I'm not gonna be surprised if we also push higher. So just in case, take this demand zone right there, and let's see how the market is gonna open. Preferably, I would just love for the market to open and break below and not offer any kind of long opportunities just to confuse us, okay? So euro yen, again, 50-50, but I'm having a more bearish vibe on it, which does not link with the bullish vibe I have on euro USD. So again, be careful, 50-50 a little bit. I personally think this week on euro yen was not the greatest, because again, we were trading between this high and this low, and everything here is internal. But of course, what you can be doing is you can be dropping on the 50-minute time frame and trading like the intraday price action. That is always a good idea. So that's euro yen. Let me know what you think. I personally have a more short kind of outlook on this one, but of course I do not exclude the longs, keeping in mind what the bias on the overall euro is. So let's jump on to the Aussies. Alright, the Aussie is finally giving us some movement, and do you know the reason? Well, taking you to my other chart, we had a rate hike this week from 3.85 to 4.10, which is, what is it, 25 basis points, I guess? Well, yeah, that's the usual rate that the banks are currently hiking, right? So we have an interest rate increase, which usually responds in a bullish market. So looking at it on the weekly time frame, I mean, we made this very nice push up, and again, as I told you, starting to look a little bit at imbalance as well, because as I started exploring it, they usually tend to be rebalanced indeed, right? This is just how the market operates. And again, we came in right there, chopped around, and then there was like 2 weeks right there that actually rebalanced the market. So right now what we can start expecting is for the market to continue with the overall bullish bias, right? Because let's just take this move. There is 50%, the imbalance is met. So right now we can start expecting the opposite side of things, right? But here everything looks balanced on top. So of course we can either expect this high to be taken or already up this high. Again, this is way too far in time. So of course we don't know. But again, yeah, you can see here, very big period of consolidation, manipulated below the consolidation. And what I actually liked is that we have a daily breakup structure down there, daily alignment, and look at the momentum. So we have quite some momentum pushing up. So of course there is right now still this extreme supply to maybe cause the market to react. Okay, because actually Aussie Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday rejected. Again, yeah, Wednesday took out these highs, rejected, but then it just continued to push up. So we have a pretty big push up. And hopefully this supply is going to offer us a chance for a little pullback and then to potentially continue going higher. Right, so this is something that we can potentially expect. And of course, we can read this probably on the 4-hourly time frame. The market is just bullish. It's tapping inside this. But again, keeping it simple, right? So for example, here you see demand zone. The market came in. Don't tell me it actually wicked it. Yeah, look at the bastard. It actually threw. So the low of this is low 422. Or 19. So you can see, guys, this is 3 pipettes. It's not even a pip, it's 3 pipettes wicked it down. And of course I usually say, well, 3 pipettes, it's a break, right? But again, I've been starting to thinking recently that again, not every break is a really a break to consider, like especially this one. And again, you can see the market just goes in the opposite way, breaks structure on the 4H, forms demand, creates a little pullback, which is also a valid higher low, right? Creates another demand, breaks structure again, this time breaks significantly, right? And right now we're just sitting at a high. So just very simply again, we draw our PD range, there is 50%, the market is at a high. Two things you can do, look for a 50-minute short, right? Maybe wait for the market to enter the zone again, give you a 50-minute short and then trade towards the 50%. Or if you just wish to stay on the safe side on the market, wait for it to pull back, give you a long trade with the trend and then long it. Okay, I'm pretty long biased on the Aussie, just looking at the overall macro things, looking at this macro manipulation, how it fulfilled also the weekly imbalance and everything. So I would expect that maybe this week or in the upcoming like weeks or days, we could be taking out this high. This is what I personally see. So bullish bias on the Aussie. Let's wait for a pullback and potentially get into a long. Aussie JPY, again, we can see this one is also pretty bullish, causing also a weekly break this week. So right now what we have to find out is, okay, where is the weekly higher low formation? Well, it could be this guy, weekly higher low, pushing up. So where is it gonna stop? Well, very hard question, question to give an answer to. Usually it goes on to take out some sort of a high, right? We have like, for example, 2 highs, we even have 3, right? Maybe we go to the daily time frame. Well, it's very flat right there. So I guess everything is going to get taken. All of this flat price action can get taken until we potentially get a reversal. All right. Dropping on the day right now. Again, we are in a very nice push phase. You can see the daily time frame. This is pretty much looking at structure. This is not a higher low right there. And pretty much the higher low was this. Sell to buy. No, it's actually not. Yeah, the higher low is actually right there because this is the higher low, higher high. And then of course we stayed inside this range for quite some time. So we actually finally also caused a 4-hourly structure break this week right there. And then this makes our major higher low, this sell to buy area. Okay. So similar to what I told you on the Aussie, we're in a push phase. So usually the push phase ends when some sort of liquidity is taken or a supply zone is tapped. Well, there are some things on the left, right? This high, we even have highs right there. So two things you can do, either wait, I'm still on the daily time frame. Man, where are you rushing, bro? 4-hourly time frame, break up, higher high, low, high, low, high, low. Look at that beautiful trend right there. Oftentimes, guys, I wonder, what the hell are you doing on the EU? Like go trade AJ or UJ or something that is currently moving. But again, as I have more time right now, I'm almost done with my graduation and moving in and doing stuff like Q3 to Q4. I'm really gonna focus and trade different strategies, pairs and all that stuff. So right now we are breaking up on the 4H, right? There's our 4-hourly range. So let's just type it as a 4H, right? And this of course is the daily range. So right now the market can pull back and then continue pushing. Okay, if we have a 4-hourly trend change, then that means that the daily time frame is going down. And if you have 4-hourly trend change, then wait for the daily zone to tap, and then of course we're going to continue going higher. So that's AJ and that's the Aussies. Both of them are pretty bullish bias. Both of them are in a high, so we gotta wait for some sort of a pullback, and of course we can start expecting the pullback. What about daily pullback? Well, also we can start expecting a daily pullback because the daily has pushed up quite a while on 2 of the pairs. Right, so anytime the daily can initiate, and you're gonna know that the daily initiates when you have a 4-hourly trend change down. So that's it. Let's have a look at the NZDs, which are pretty similar. The NZD is pretty much similar development to the Aussie. However, here we had this weekly breakup, we have this weekly breakdown. So the weekly time frame was bearish, and then technically right now this also can be classified potentially as a break of structure, but also we can explore potentially this as a bullish leg, and then the market giving us a pullback. Did we tap 50%? Yes, we did. Look at the 50% tap. And something else that I spot is that we have a little bit of a imbalance right there that was filled pretty much just below the 50%. So looking at that macro picture, we can also start expecting longs on this pair, but of course, first of all, we got to get that lower time frame alignment. This one, I wouldn't really take it as a daily lower high. Like to me, the daily lower high is still here, sitting in very nicely within the weekly supply zone. So on the daily, again, we're probably going to be pushing up, rebalancing all of this price action and making this 50% pullback. The 4-hourly time frame is definitely bullish though. Like this week, well, we aligned bullish here, and this does look like a breakdown. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, so after we broke down, this was the supply. The market kind of chopped around. Eventually it fulfilled the week low, and then after that week low was fulfilled, we immediately came in and broke structure up. And here we also made a valid higher low. Not 100% sure if it's valid. I gotta check some other things, but there it is. There is your whole analysis, right? Again, similar to the Aussie, bullish at a higher high. We can of course look for right now for a pullback and a continuation higher. And I do think we can be continuing higher until we get inside the supply, because here it's all empty space. So probably we're gonna be seeking like liquidity like this or liquidity like that. So we have some upside potential. So weekly is bearish, sure. Daily is bearish, sure, right? But the forward is bullish right now in a pullback mode of those macro time frames. So I do think also looking at the vibe of the Aussie, I do think taking a long trade on the NZD/USD is a better choice. So let's see. There's my bias, looking for a pullback and potential longs. And probably NJ is going to be similar. Well, this one on the weekly time frame is a bit of a mess. Broke down, broke up right there, and pulled us back a little bit. And yeah, is it going to continue pushing up right now? Well, let's try to see. Daily high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and then it came in and it kind of wicked below this daily low, but it held below this one, above this one. And then looking at also this internally right there, we have also a daily alignment, bullish right now. Also, you can see like we had that slight bit of imbalance right there that was rebalanced towards the 50%. And yeah, right now we're breaking, creating a brand new daily demand zone. So again, also on the yen pairs, I see bullishness. There it is. We broke up. Higher highs created. Pretty much the 4-hourly zone is the same as the daily. You can of course refine it to this guy right there. And yeah, I mean, simple analysis. Two things you can do: either wait for a bigger pullback or just wait for a slight pullback right there around 30%, because this is pretty much, no, it's not the first trend change, but we have like a breakup. Yeah, this one was pretty messy, but again, as I told you on Thursday or even on Friday, we picked up some steam, we broke some structure. So right now I would expect a pullback and a continuation with this fresh momentum bullish. So long bias on the NZDs, long bias on the Aussies. Let's see how they go into next week, right after the interest rate hike. And of course, let's see how the dollar news and everything else is going to impact those currencies as well. Let's have a look at the yen. So again, just to remind you, starting this analysis, we have interest rate, press conference, and everything that comes with an interest rate decision next week on Friday. Okay, but Friday looks pretty late. So again, what happens until Friday, we don't know. When it comes to the weekly time frame, again, like it was here that we had supply. The market reacted, but later it flipped. Okay, so we have shifted bullish, this being the weekly break. And of course, we have some sort of a demand zone right here. So the market pushed, it made a hard high. And again, as I keep telling you always, there is always something on the left, and there is something on the left right now. And that does not mean that you can take a short and short it towards the floor, right? This means that we're just going to get potentially a reaction and then a continuation higher. Okay, so next week, I mean, I don't want to throw any expectations. We're also having an inside bar. So again, hard to determine what is going to happen. What I see starting to look a little bit more into imbalance is that we have imbalance right there looking to potentially be rebalanced. Is it going to happen now? Is it going to happen after a month? You don't know. Okay. And daily time frame is tricky. And this is where potentially I'm just going to stop, right? And just say, well, it's tricky. And my favorite saying, it's cooking for something, right? We pushed up, we pull back into daily, tried to push. Yeah, pretty much this week, no move, right? No move. And as you know, we're in an inside bar. And then, of course, then trying to drop into the 4-hourly time frame. Well, you should not, especially when like the weekly is chopping daily. Well, the weekly is not chopping, don't get me wrong. Okay, but we have like these 2 weeks of a pullback, and also the weekly candle is consolidative. And this immediately tells me that the 4-hourly time frame is choppy, right? And pretty much what we have here is a trend change bullish. And then of course you can take this as your, this whole thing as your demand zone. And yeah, push, tap, 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 boom, up and down, up and down, up and down. I personally expect a bearish break. I don't think so, like after 1,000 taps inside the zone, that the market is just gonna tap again and reverse higher. But again, we never know. We never know what's gonna happen. This is also a daily demand zone that the market tapped in. So again, guys, let's see. I mean, interest rate decision next week. So let's see. But again, right now, I cannot make any predictions because I just don't know. Like if it's bullish, if it's bearish, I can say pullback, this and that and this and that, but this one is just chopping. So again, respecting the structure, it should be going up, right? But it should have gone up by now. Tapped once, 2 times. Here it tried to push, failed, came in again. Right now it tries to push. To me, it looks a bit more bearish, hence why I would expect the market to break lower again. And then from there, we're going to see what's going to happen. So again, be careful with the USD pair next week, and of course, wait for the interest rates. Let's have a look at UCAT, the pair that I never get right. Every single bearish candle right there, I always say we're going to take out this low. Right, and I've been saying this probably since the market was right there in January. Why? Well, because this is the major higher low, higher high. The market pulls back and it keeps trying to push up, but it fails, which just tells me that this low is weak and this low is potentially weak, right? Last week we had interest rate, where is it? CAT, there it is. Yeah, so we hiked it by 25 basis points, which is again technically bullish for the pair, but we see bearishness, right? And I just think this pair lacks liquidity. I mean, we can be taking these lows right there. We can be taking these lows right there. All of this is liquidity areas because those lows failed to cause any significant breaks. And I'm still looking for example, for this demand zone to get tapped. So that's my macro analysis. Then of course, dropping on the daily time frame, you can see like up and down, up and down, up and down. This is why I just don't like UCAT. This week, since Monday all the way into Friday, we were kind of dipping below, traveling somewhere. What we did just on Friday, we just dipped below this little low right there. But yeah, of course, where is it going? I just don't know. Hourly time frame, you can see that the hourly time frame this week, just looking at this price action, well, you can be objective. This was a lower high, it wicked above, then yeah, trend change down, then wicked above here, and then it's continuation down, pullback, lower low, lower high. I just don't like it, right? If I'm extremely objective, once again, this looks like the last break. And do you take the last supply like this, or maybe you refine it to like this? I'm personally gonna take this highest point right here, and it's still bearish, but it's bearish in a very not nice way, right? So we can potentially expect further downside right now, but what we can also expect is all of these shitty highs right there to be taken, and then for the market to continue going down. So UCAT, I mean, we had interest rate, they didn't really respond to the interest rate, which is interesting. So I have again no bias. What I'm gonna say is just it's bearish. I would expect the market to dip a little bit lower right now, but then what do we do immediately on Monday? I would be very careful because again, we have lots of liquidity with these flat highs. The daily time frame also looks a bit extended to the downside. It's tapping into like support levels. Like you can see, like we have some sort of support right there, and the market keeps bouncing from it, right? So let's see. I mean, let me know what you guys think about UCAT. I do believe you could have definitely taken some shorts this week, just following with the 50-minute time frame. And yeah, let's see what happens next week. I'm bearish bias, expecting potential lows, but of course I do not exclude that we can seek some liquidity into the highs and then potentially reverse lower. So let's see. Next on the list are the GBPs. Let's have a look what is happening right here. We had, of course, this weekly push. We're having 3 weeks of a pullback and right now 2 weeks of bullishness. So are we going to be attacking the high? Well, potentially. But again, the market on the weekly time frame is bullish. And also similar to Euro USD, like we came in and we grabbed quite some liquidity below these lows right there. Then we aligned bullish on the daily, right? Then we created a little pullback. And of course, looking at imbalance, I know from my past experience, GU loves imbalances. You can also use like imbalances for potential points of interest on GU, although I don't like imbalances for a potential zone to enter or base a trade on, because I always do it with structuring supply and demand. But we pretty much fulfilled this little guy, and right now we are going to be tapping into this extreme supply. So we can start expecting a little pullback and a continuation higher. I am pretty much long bias. Weekly is bullish, daily is bullish right now, and also the forward is bullish. But again, the forward time frame tends to change a little bit, maybe to create a daily pullback, and then we can align bullish again. But again, the most recent price action on this one is this bullish break, demand, right? And of course, my breakdown on this one will be wait for a pullback and then keep longing it until you're wrong. Because if you're wrong And if you get a TC, then of course that could mean a daily pullback. When the daily pullback gets completed, you're still gonna have that hourly alignment and it's gonna be pushing up. So that is GU. Again, long term, I would expect that weak high on the weekly to be taken. Imbalance is filled right now, so we can also expect a reaction to the downside, and we're about to be entering into supply. But again, this supply does not mean a complete breakdown. It just means a pullback, higher low, and then a continuation higher. So I'm long bias on GU, but again, the only question is how it's gonna develop, and the only way to know is to just wait and flow with the markets. But there is overall my two scenarios that I expect. GJ pushing into the highs. Oh, this one is very bullish. I mean, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks of bullishness. When it's gonna stop? Is there something on the left? But what I see is there is this high on the left, which is pretty nice, and we also took it exactly this week. Okay, so can we have some sort of a reaction? And we took it exactly on Friday as well, so last day. Well, very bullish on the daily. There's the daily zone, and on the 4-hourly time frame, we're probably also very bullish. The major 4-hourly lower high, higher low, sorry, being this one. So what can I say? Well, higher high on the weekly, higher high on the daily, higher high on the 4H. Of course, I'm gonna say keep longing it until you're wrong, but of course, I do think we're gonna have some sort of a pullback, especially as we take this major low on the weekly time frame onto the left, and we can be expecting a pullback and alignment here, or we can even expect like a bigger daily pullback and an alignment down there. So again, bullish on GJ. Every time frame is bullish. The question is, where do we enter from? Personally, I'm going to be waiting for a pullback, higher low formation, and then potential longs. So bullish are the GBPs, bullish is the euro as well. So definitely getting that bearish DXY and everything else bullish going forward. So let's see how it's going to play out. Knowing what is coming next week, of course, gold is going to be consolidating this week, inside bar. So what we can expect, well, I don't know, right? Again, we failed to close all-time highs on 2 occasions and even on 3 occasions right there. So my big question is, are we going to be dipping below right now, or are we going to be exploding towards the highs? Again, I don't know. This, of course, depends on the Dixie. I mean, if the Dixie goes down, gold goes up. If the Dixie goes up, gold goes down. So again, we have to watch out for this correlation. But in terms of the weekly time frame, we had this kind of recent alignment down. We have this weekly supply. What I immediately see is that there is quite some space right there to rebalance on the weekly time frame. Dropping on the day. Yeah, the day is, especially this week, I mean, nothing much. Opened, bullish, a little bearish, bullish, indecision, right? Pretty much indecision. This is the last break, and I still think, yeah, we're staying within this major daily lower high. So are we gonna pump up and then pump down? Are we gonna just dump down? Are we gonna reverse higher? I don't know. And again, it's very hard to predict when the market is choppy and when we have news incoming. Okay. What I could expect, like based on liquidity, is for the market to do something like this, right? And then from here, we're gonna like decide what we want to do. This is the daily. And then of course the 4-hourly time frame, when the weekly and the daily are chopping around, you know what to expect on the 4-hourly time frame, right? Just up, down, went down, pull back, lower high, failed to break the low, pulls back again, takes out this high. Yeah, so on gold, what I'm just gonna say, guys, is wait. I mean, not every week is tradable, but again, what I think a skill that I lack is knowing what pairs to trade during specific weeks. Because usually, again, I trade mainly Euro USD, US 30, a little bit of US 30, right? But there are weeks when Euro USD is complete crap, and you have like EJ, or you have AU, or you have whatever moving beautifully, right? So I do think this is a skill I have to master. So looking at this right now, and especially coming into next week, not a good idea to be trading gold. So stay patient. Let me know what are your projections just for fun next week. But again, don't risk your capital during the news, and don't trade a low probability markets without knowing what is going to happen. Let's have a look at some indices and also some cryptos. So another bullish week on US 30, tapping deeper into this daily supply zone. So again, what is going to be happening going forward? Well, with indices, it's always a little bit hard to tell. Daily time frame has aligned bullish, right? A lot of liquidity is being taken right there. So this one was collected quite some time ago, and we pulled back this week, and we continue pushing up. deeper inside this zone, right? So what I again see, trying to train my eyes to it, that I see a little bit of imbalance that is currently being filled. So the question is, are we gonna tap right there and maybe reverse, or are we just gonna continue breaking higher? Okay, these levels right there to the bottom, no longer relevant. We have this daily break, and right now we have kind of a new daily higher low formation coming in from right there, and of course dropping on the 4H. I mean, this week was tricky because we had a higher high and then the market pulled back, and as I told you, we were kind of chopping until Thursday, and then Friday also made a new higher high. So looking at Friday's price action, we have a higher high on the 4H. We have a demand zone that is right there, but look at the break, not very convincing, not very nice. So again, we can either expect a pullback here and a continuation, or if it makes a trend change, then from this daily demand zone, we can be looking for the market to continue going higher. So I'm overall bullish on US30, right? Of course, we can be having a deeper pullback to rebalance all of this right there. This one is still valid with lots of imbalance right there. So let's see, right? But eventually, I do think with the strength of the stock market and those stocks, I do think we could be headed for a higher high right there. So that's US30, bullish bias, two scenarios that I see coming in very, very shortly into the next week. Nasdaq as well came in and took out this high exactly on Friday and rejected violently. But again, then if I just drop on the weekly time frame, we have been pushing up for quite some time, tapping inside this zone right there. And if you just look again, just considering imbalance, right, with the most recent one, it's perfectly filled. So can we start expecting bearishness? Well, there is going to be a time where we actually have it, because we are going to have it, because there is always a pullback, right? Daily time frame, still bullish. We had a break of structure right there. We have a demand right here, and it was pretty much like this last day that we came in and we just, yeah, I'm not sure if we break it. I think we broke it because, yeah, we just pinked a little bit above it. Okay, so I wouldn't say this one is a break yet, but then if I transfer on the volatile time frame, yeah, we wicked it up. Not clear. Okay, I much like US30, for example. It looks more trending, it looks with clear structure, while this one, especially like the last 2 weeks, not very clear. Okay, it's reaching a very important high, it's feeling like a very important imbalance to the left, it's very hard on the weekly time frame. So anytime soon I can start expecting bearishness. But of course, this is the stock market, right? And if the stocks are doing great and all of that stuff, well, it can just continue pushing. So don't again marry your technical analysis or your subjective thoughts that it's too high and it's gonna pull back, right? Just wait for the pullback to happen by having like a forward trend change, and then you just get an objective reversal. Okay, so if I'm again objective, I mean, this was a potential, well, this was a lower high because it caused the trend change right there. The market pulled back, reacted, broke it. So right now, pretty much the trend change is going to be right there. So if you get a trend change and a nice bearish order flow, then you can say a pullback is initiated and maybe you can start getting into shorts. S&P is coming in very close to the weekly high right there, and I do think we're going to be taking it because this is pretty much the next liquidity area, and the market is coming in with big steam towards it. Is it going to happen first thing into the next week, or is it going to happen like after a little pullback? I don't know, right? I don't know, but I know that it's potentially going to get taken because there is nothing left, and it looks like this big supply zone just doesn't have any more sellers. This week on S&P, not amazing. I mean, it only moved like on Thursday and Friday, made the high. And yeah, if you just look like at the overall volatile price action, broke down, broke up, broke down, broke up. Like the last break is here, the last demand is here. So my question is, are we going to pull back a little bit and then start heading into the highs, or are we just going to expand and take out the highs? But personally, I just think we are going to be taking out these highs, as this is the next liquidity area. The trade I took this week was a simple manipulation trade. I started trading like some liquidity concepts, testing out some stuff here and there, and I've pretty much been back testing and forward testing this little approach the past 1 or 2 months. And this was actually, yeah, my first real life trade on my account with real risk, because before I implement something in my trading, I spend a lot of time testing it. So yeah, this is just like a session strategy based on the New York Stock Exchange Open, liquidity being taken, and then usually targeting the opposite side. So I made around 4R on this one, and I pretty much enter on the 1 minute again with the same approach that I have for my like for my strategy that I usually trade, right? We took liquidity, TC down, retest, and then of course my target was supposed to be all the way down there, right? But I took it a little bit before. You're gonna see my MT4 stats. So I'm gonna be sharing more this type of strategy. Many of you know it, like from ICT and from other guys. I've been just looking at things here and there. I learned, I watch a lot of YouTube, a lot of strategies as well, and just trying to get some inspiration, because again, a big thing that I personally lack is more detailed and a deeper understanding of liquidity. Right? Where is the market taking? Where is it going next? What is it seeking? Where is it going? So I'm currently working a lot on this stuff, and I already have an amazing approach and strategy towards this that I'm going to be rolling out to my community members. So big times ahead. But again, going back to the analysis, we'll be looking eventually for the market to take out this high. And then of course, after this high is taken, we can either just continue pumping up or we can start rebalancing to the downside. So that is S&P. Bitcoin, I just look at it on the daily time frame. Still looking for the 50%, and as you can see, like the market pumped up, fake, pumped down, fake, return back, and right now it looks like it actually starts rolling down. So again, looking at this level right there for a potential buy, if you are swinging it from the downside, then this will be a good area to stack up onto it. And of course, if you want to get technical, like then drop on the volatile time frame and look for a cleaner alignment. But yeah, you can see range up, down, up, coming in back down. But again, I do think 50% can get taken, maybe even dip lower than that, like because you can see there is lots of empty space exiting from here. And pretty much right now, again, based on my pretty much liquidity knowledge that it's not really liquidity, it's just imbalance. Pretty much we can be coming in to rebalance all of this empty space right there. So let's see, the deeper it pulls back, the better the buying opportunity will be. Let me know, guys, if you're buying Bitcoin. Ethereum, I'm not even considering Ethereum because Ethereum is still in between this high and this low. I'm only going to be buying Ethereum if it comes in and takes out this low. That is only what I'm just going to plot a big buy, right? So waiting for this to happen. So I want to wrap it up in here, guys. Big week ahead of us with FOMC interest rate decision, the ECB interest rate decision, JPY as well. A lot of news, a lot of big things are happening. So be careful, be aware of the news, and of course, trade safe. Not every week is a safe week, and of course, you should be targeting easy weeks without much news, with clear price action, and without a lot of manipulation. So I wish you an amazing weekend if you're watching this during the weekend. I wish you an incredible week ahead. Once again, be careful and stay tuned for my analysis either on Tuesday or Wednesday. I might do it like in a feeling. If there is something clear on Tuesday, I might do it then. If there is not, then on Wednesday. But I also want you to know when I'm going to be publishing. So take care and talk to you this week.